Hello friends and welcome to another episode of Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. This is Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, and today we are going to be talking about the content update post that went live earlier this afternoon. Now before I begin, for those of you who are new and unfamiliar with the channel, really goes over what is being talked about on the forums, what new information is being discussed or being released. Now, I will put links in the bottom of the discussion section, and so you can check it out yourself, but a lot of people don't go to the forums. They don't have time, or they just don't care to. But I want to talk about what is coming up for those of you who don't, right? And so if you do go to the forums, this is probably going to be repeated information. A lot of really awesome stuff is coming. The Bounty Hunter rework has been officially launched or is on its way. Now I'm very, very excited. We've been given the information as far as the May monthly login character, and no surprise, it is Han Solo. Now this is OG Han, this isn't Stormtrooper Han, or Old Man Han, or Rebel Captain Han, or whatever. It's also not Carbonite Han, it's also not Baby Han, it's also not Dead Han.
Chewie, I'm still falling!
Han Solo's gotten out of tougher scrapes than this. Oh my god!
This is the OG Han. Shoot first, ask questions later. And he is going to be the login character for the month. This doesn't necessarily mean that OG Han's being taken out of the raid, of the Rancor raid. It just means the Solo movie's coming out in less than a month. And to celebrate that, here's a Han, right? If you don't have a Han, if you're a new player, then here you go. Log in every day, it's gonna help. Now, we also know that with a scoundrel, you have to have a few bounty hunters. Now, we are going to be getting Bosk. Now, Bosk is coming May the 4th in a marquee event, which shouldn't be any shock. It does seem like they're going to be trying to stick to these new marquee events to introduce and to maintain new characters. So what does that mean? That means if you do and finish all the parts of the marquee event, you will have Bosk at 3 stars. Is he viable at 3 stars? Probably not. Is he good at 3 stars? Who knows? We shall see. But what you will see is a character with 3 stars if you can complete the event. Now, the event's not going to be super challenging, but you're going to need to work at it. A lot of these events have been challenging enough to unlock for newer players. If you're a level 85 player, you're probably going to do fine. But if you are a new player, this might be a challenge for you. It will run from May 4th to May 6th. You have to be at least level 20. You are going to be forced to use Bosk as a leader, which is likely to mean that you're going to be using a bounty hunter team. So between now and then, probably want to work on your bounty hunter team if they are not geared and maxed and geared and maxed and geared and maxed. What this also means is you will have essentially 3 days to unlock Bosk. Not bad. And if you want to buy Bosk, you can get a pack and a bundle. Now, what I would suggest, if you're going to buy Bosk, use the crystals. If you're going to use the crystals, every May the 4th, they usually do some kind of discount for that day, right? May the 4th be with you. Very excited. And you can purchase crystals at a discounted price. If they don't do that this time around, I will be kind of shocked, but it is the best time to do it. So hold off if you're if you're planning on buying crystals. Wait like another week until then, and then buy crystals, and then use the pack. I may not, I don't necessarily know, but I'm excited one way or the other. Now with this update, we are going to be introduced to Galactic Bounties. Now what Galactic Bounties is, it's a new type of game, and if you remember from the video that I did and the interview that I did with Carrie and Tim, it was interesting because they talked about adding some kind of element of story, some kind of element of the lore, and I think that we're going to get a somewhat story-driven, I don't know why I did air quotes, but somewhat story-driven event here where we are going to use our bounty hunter team to capture different characters in the game. Now, the Galactic Bounty events are unlocked at level 75 and are designed for players who are 80 and above, so 85 and above, which, you know, you're probably going to do fine. But they offer an escalating challenge as the tiers increase, but also rarer character bounties. Each tier is a bit more challenging than the one before, which shouldn't be any surprise. So it's going to have 5 tiers. Each tier is going to be tuned for different characters or for different players. Easy. The first tier 1 is going to be geared towards level 8 players with okay mods, whereas tier 5 is going to be tuned for level 85 players with zated tunes, with solid mods, like really going to be challenging. Well, what they're going to do is they're going to cycle through available targets every so often. So if a character that you want to add to your collection isn't in the target this time, they may be there in the future. In the introductory Galactic Bounty, they're providing players with 2 free plays of the event for the first 2 runs. So in case anybody misses the fact that these events are shared, the payouts are shared, this will help you, right? This will allow you. So, but they're free refreshes. But that is just this time. In the future, it does say that the event will have a crystal refresh associated with the second attempt. So again, keep in mind, this is very much like the Night Sister Zombie and Spirit Shards, or the Night Sister Zombie and Spirit event that, you know, you can refresh, but it's going to cost you, right? So currently, the current bounties available are going to be Poplu, Han Solo, Rebel Officer Leia Organa, Imperial Probe Droid, and the Wampa. So this, I mean, it's going to be interesting. I'm curious to know if this is how they have them stacked. If Poplu is the easiest, Han Solo is the next, Rebel Officer Leia Organa is next further, Imperial Probe Droid. I'm going to be going for the Wampa. I want the Wampa. I also don't want to pay for him. Now, the first round of Galactic Bounty will begin April 26th. It doesn't say when it's going to end, but I would probably say it's going to end around the time that Galactic Bounty 2 starts, which begins May 7th. It might end a little bit closer than that. I'm not entirely sure, but I do think that we will see it something around that time. Now, with that though, guys, they did give us a contracts tutorial, and this was really kind of exciting because this event went live. I went ahead, and you're watching it now. It was a really cool tutorial to kind of see how both the contracts work for the characters and how the payout mechanics work for bounty hunters. Now, in one of my previous videos, I did talk about contracts just real briefly. I didn't go into depths on them, and I'm still not going to, but what's interesting about contracts is they don't stack, okay? So don't plan on them stacking, but you will get this cool little blue box above them. Guys, I really am excited for this new Bounty Hunter rework. I think it is going to be sweet, and I think it's going to make these tunes way more viable. There's a lot of talk about how the Bounty Hunters are going to be just crazy useful in the heroic level of the Sith Triumvirate raid in Phase 2. I'm really curious to see how that's going to work out. Not 100%, but man, I am stoked to see that in the works. Now, before I go, I do want to cover some other information on the update. It's not a ton of great stuff, but it's really, I think, important. The Rebel Assault Battle is going to be updated. It's going to pit bounty hunters and Imperial troopers against rebels, so that's going to be pretty cool to see them working hand in hand. They have adjusted 2 bonus abilities, or added 2 bonus abilities, one for each faction, one for bounty hunters, one for Imperial troopers. That is going to be really interesting. Now, it says, due to the large number of rebels, the reward for this event are determined differently from other rebel assaults. Tier 1 award shards, blueprints primary of the Rogue One and Phoenix Rebel factions. Tier 2 award shards, blueprints primarily of the classic film, so, you know, the classic rebels. And then Tier 3 is going to be award shards for all the possible rewards for Tier 1 and 2. So just keep that in mind as you play that. That event's coming May 4th. This event may or may not contain the Mythic event, which is kind of unfortunate because those have been a lot of fun. Now, the Bounty Hunters, if you want to check it out, the reworks are listed here. If you want to check out Bosk's ability, Bosk's kit, you could watch my other video, or you can actually go through the thing and read here. There are issues with the Bounty Hunter faction right now, so keep that in mind. Those bugs are going to be fixed in the next client update, which a week, maybe, I don't know, maybe less. And I know so many of you are so excited for Rose Tico and Amlin Holdo. They are now being added to the light side and dark side hard nodes. You can now farm all hard nodes up to 8 times a day. Now that is, I think, awesome. I think that's one of the biggest things about this new post. That is going to make farming so much easier, and I think it's hilarious. Being an old player, I remember the days when you couldn't use crystal refreshes, and then you could only farm a node once a day. That was like tedious. That was so tedious. But you know, hey, they're like, hey, we want to make it easier for new players to really have a challenge, and I really think they are giving a lot of perks to the new players. Hopefully they are balancing that out with some in-game content for us OGs who've been around since the dawn of the game. Very excited about this new hard node, because I'm still farming new characters, and they're going to continue to replace old characters, put them on different places, making them easier to farm, and this is, I think, really going to be beneficial to that. Very excited. But there are a ton of fixes. Guys, I am stoked about this new update. I am stoked about the Bounty Hunter rework. Again, I'm very excited about what they're going to be doing for May the 4th. That is a little over a week and a half away. Very happy to see what comes out, because usually they do something nice for the players. Join us on Discord. I'll leave the link in the section below. I will also leave a link to my Patreon account if you guys feel so inclined there. Join us for more and more Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. There's so much coming up, and I am so excited to see what happens. Leave a comment in the section below. Like, subscribe, share. This has been Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, and as always, stay nerdy, my friends.